there are no real pastors, imams, religious leaders at all.
And there are no real ones. I'm not convinced by any of them. Most of them do not even believe in what they preach. I mean, for you to actually fake miracles, what is the point?
Is juju a scam?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I've done so much investigations on it.
You went to the juju man's place.
No, and I actually tested him and actually paid for a charm. And I tested it on camera.
How much is this charm?
I paid 50k for a ring. I know, like this ring, you hit someone with it and they fall. And we tested it on camera and it doesn't work.
And it didn't work?
What's the name of the juju man?
To Alafe for you, to Onyofife, to if you really have any kind of juju, I mean, this supernatural power, I mean, you can actually test it on me to actually find out if it works.
We've heard things like Yahoo Plus, a type of charm that you can be in Nigeria and be controlling a client abroad. Do you think these things are actually potent?
I think they are manipulative. People would normally do these things without this charm. People had always collected money. Unless that charm does something different, then we can agree.
Shatawale recommending Chief Natia as his chief priest actually got Chief Natia the ability to actually set up his own court.
And he's fake too.
And he's fake too now. He's scammed a lot of people that even came to me. That he scammed me. What should I do?
What would make you give a juju priest 16 million?
Like they were, it was kind of, they were telling you that they were doing money ritual for you. Even the GSS is now involved.
Agbotify your empire. Yes. The concept of God.
Scam.
Son of God.
Scam.
Mami water.
Scam.
Babalawo.
Scam.
Witches and wizards.
Scam.
Juju men.
Scam.
Black magic.
Scam.
Charm.
Scam.
Chief priest.
Scam.
Pastors.
I'm out. Welcome to another episode of In the Name of Danny. This particular episode interests me so much because we've talked about Christianity to an extent, we've talked about Islam to an extent. Today we'll be talking about native religion. But before then, the Akpatakwiti one, the God's favorite, Nyemego Maestro, ladies and gentlemen, the host, In the Name of Danny, Ajebo Danny Walter.
I like this introductions. Hi, my name is Danny, aka Ajebo Danny. Welcome to another episode.
He examines culture as it relates to developmental growth and all abstract ideas that impact societal constructs, which is why he is investigating and debunking supernatural claims, all the way from the finest city of Ibadan. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Gbenga Adewoyn.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Welcome. I wanted to ask you a first question that was quite direct, but before I delve into that, I want us to understand you. I know that you were born into a Christian home. You have like a Christian background. Most likely, like Danny, you've been an usher before, a prayer warrior.
That was a BSF. I was actually acting.
You were acting?
Yeah.
You were in the drama department?
Yeah.
What church?
CSC.
CSC.
Yeah.
But you no longer have a religion, right?
Yeah, I do not.
So tell us briefly about your background. Why did you, in quotes, stop practicing Christianity? And at what point? Are your parents still Christians? Tell us about yourself.
Okay. All right. I didn't actually start by. It wasn't like a sudden step. It wasn't. It was something I think I would say I was always skeptical about the supernatural itself, but I was also equally committed to it. That was a point in my life that I was actually totally committed. I was the mountain going, Bible believing, fundamentalism Christian, but that kind of just slipped away. I mean through several. I was actually wrestled with it. Apostle Suleiman was my favorite pastor. I mean, he said a lot of things. I mean,
who is your favorite pastor?
Then Suleiman.
Johnson.
Sorry, Joshua Selman. Sorry. No, not Suleiman. Yeah. So I listened a lot to his podcast, to his
messages.
messages, and then I mean, this was towards the end of my I mean, that was during my deconversion, and I was actually struggling, actually praying to God, God, please give me evidence. Give me some evidence, something to hold on to, something that can actually convince me. I mean, it was I won't call it a downward spiral. I would call it an upward spiral, because gaining possession of your mind is actually an upward spiral. And it was just, I mean, towards the end, it was kind of rough. I mean, very, very, because I struggled with it a lot. I prayed a lot, and it just later went away. I mean, just slipped away.
So why did you stop practicing Christianity, and at what point?
I think that was when I was 16. Yeah,
That's
16.
such a long time.
And that was actually just a long time ago. I was 16, and yeah, that was when I was looking for admission I was in the US. I was actually looking, like, desperately looking for admission, and I spent the whole year actually looking. I never got one, and towards December, right? Towards December, I got an admission after fasting for 2 days. After fasting for 2 days, and I started wondering, was it really this belief in the supernatural, or was this fasting that actually got me my admission, or was it something else? Was it just my work? And I mean, that was the question that actually the question that actually broke the back. And I was like, seriously, I was actually pondering it, and honestly, I wasn't able to resolve it. I was able to resolve it, but not in Christianity. Things work out. Things work out. My life has been good since then. I mean, things work out. Not totally, right? Like I told you,
Wait. So you prayed to God to give you admission.
and I got an admission.
You
I got
got
a scholarship.
admission. How did that make you stop believing? I thought that should
Exactly,
strengthen your
strengthen my
faith.
faith. Exactly, but it did the opposite. I was like unsure. Was this really the prayer, or was it something else? And you know,
So what did you conclude it was?
it was just me. It was just I was kind of lucky because I actually got after a couple of days after that, I actually got more admissions from other universities, and
In the US?
yeah, now by university, I've forgotten. I think Ohio State University or so, and I got scholarships, and I just look, forget. This isn't God. I mean, it wasn't an easy conclusion to come to. I mean, I went to the mountain to pray
So
for
you went to
evidence.
the mountain to pray.
Yeah, no.
2 days after, you got admission,
I know.
and you carry that. Let me leave it to God.
You need deliverance.
Exactly. People think something bad has to happen to you before you actually do convert. I mean, something like that actually motivates. Something good actually happened to me.
That's
That's
interesting.
another angle.
That's interesting.
Now you investigate and expose fake people religiously. Why?
Now, there are no real ones. I mean, there are no real ones. I just to actually better understand, get people to understand it. I call them fakes, right? But there are no real ones. I just because it is basically due to
Wait, there are no real pastors, imams, religious leaders at all.
and yeah, people
Worldwide.
there are people that are completely convinced that what they believe is true. I mean, there are people that most of them are actually completely, and most of them actually do not even believe in what they preach. I mean, for you to actually fake miracles, what is the point? Some actually excuse it as a way to actually make the word of God progress and all. But most of them have actually investigated. I still continue to investigate. Actually know that they are frauds, and some of them actually feel like they are completely convinced about their belief itself. Yeah. But I would say this: I'm not convinced by any of them that any real one actually exists.
So investigating these non-real ones and all of that, what has it costed you?
I mean, the most significant thing that costed me was probably my first girlfriend. I mean, she yeah, we dated for 6 years, and I mean the second I think we broke up a day before my second investigation. Yeah. The first person I investigated was this chief of Ugbuni, somewhere in Ogun State, Ijebu, there, right? And the second person I would investigate was, the day before that, because I remember we broke up the day before that, and I met someone at my bus stop a day after. So I can remember she broke up with me.
Danny, I would like you to touch on something. Like I said, what you guys have in common is that you were in church, born of a Christian home. Most likely, your dad is probably even a pastor,
My dad isn't, but he's
but he's quite,
very religious.
very religious. Of course, my dad is a pastor. Danny's dad is a pastor.
Jesus Christ.
And I know one of your name is Daniel.
Daniel.
So we are triple Daniels here. But now let me see they go church. God, I beg, I different. Consider me your kingdom. Okay. So, Danny, I need you to say something about there are no real religious leaders. This is why I'm asking you. Even after some religious leaders have, so to say, been busted, say, okay, this thing that you are doing is a scam, we know. They still have members trooping. What do you think, psychologically, or, from your point of view, what do you think insinuates that?
I think we should get better context from the original speaker. Because when you say there are no religious and there are no real religious leaders, are you saying all miracles are fake or all pastors lie? Because not every pastor performs miracles.
Mm-hmm.
So there are people who just want to teach and educate, preach the word of God, have fellowship with their people, not necessarily to perform miracles or any of that. So how do you categorize those ones as not real?
Yeah. There is a particular pastor like that in Nigeria that doesn't actually do miracles. I've never actually seen his miracle.
What pastor?
I'm not going to mention his name because I'm actually investigating him. So,
Okay.
but he has done some financial frauds. I mean, I know of a criminal he actually hired to actually protect his house, one of his houses in DS. I'm not going to say his state, right? Because they all have houses in DS. And so there are some of them like that are actually genuinely convinced about. I mean, to actually lie, you have to know the truth. So for something to qualify as a lie, you have to actually know what the truth is. There are some that are genuinely convinced that God is real and God is speaking to me, But some of them also do not actually believe in it, and because of what they actually do behind. I don't want to bring up names. I don't want to bring up names of some of them. I'm actually investigating because the content are not out yet. But that is not. It doesn't make any sense to me with what I've found about them. It doesn't make any sense to me that they actually really believe in a God. They cannot because
I think you're mistaking your own opinion for facts.
Yeah, I know. That could be the case. That could be the case. There are some that are just very wicked. That are just very wicked.
Doesn't still make them unreal.
But why would you actually hire someone to do a miracle for you, then ship them out of the country?
That's why I said people who do miracle on one side. There are pastors who just teach. There are pastors who want to fellowship.
Like I said, there is one like that in
So
here in
how
Lagos.
do you
There is one like that here in Lagos.
do you
know his name well.
categorize those ones still as not real? Because what are they doing that is unreal?
I don't believe the Bible has any kind of supernatural power. I don't believe it actually has any kind of any
So their
any
practice
quality.
of it alone makes them not to be real.
No,
Okay, you're against the entire
I don't believe
religion.
God is actually speaking through them, or when they say God is actually speaking to them, or God chose them, or something like that. I don't. God doesn't choose people because they haven't even affirmed the existence of God in the first place. So that's what I mean by that. That even those that are actually speaking for God, that are supposedly teaching.
So you're an
They are not-
atheist.
That is what will qualify me. But I hold a lot of views that actually differ from what mainstream it is actually hold. But
Like what?
they're just far left believes like abortion in the last trimester is actually okay. I don't think it is. I mean, if the life of the woman is not at stake, I mean, and you feel like you don't want a child anymore in the last trimester, I think that is wrong. Just have the baby and give it away. And so there are some atheists that actually feel like it is okay for you to actually abort a child 8 months in without without.
I don't think this like I said, you're confusing personal opinion with facts. People saying
a debate I had online already.
people saying they want abortion or they like abortion or they think abortion is good and they don't has nothing to do with atheism. It's a personal conviction.
It is. But in my own camp, where I actually had that discussion, because we have to, when in the absence of God, you have to actually grant your morality on something else. And they said it is the progress of human life, the quality of human life.
So you're an atheist.
I'm an atheist, but and the way I actually grant my own morality is through the value I have on human life.
Okay.
The value I have on human life, the progress and the advancement of human prosperity. That is what my own foundation is. There are some that actually have the same foundation that would say this is the thing, but I don't think it is actually commensurate with the idea of actually aborting a child in the last trimester for no reason at all. At least just for a reason like just not wanting the child.
All right. Some call it black magic. Some call it charm. Some call it ojuju. Some call it voodoo. Actually, it's widely called voodoo. In Nigeria, Africa at large, we call it juju. Is juju a scam?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I've done so much investigations on it. I mean, I was sent to places by people that were convinced, totally convinced, that a juju priest is real. Just recently, I did an investigation. It is public already. About the story that went viral, Sajaros's wife and his husband and the wife he hit his wife, it's that situation. He hit his wife because she went to this particular juju priest, and I investigated the juju priest. She was convinced that this juju priest is real.
Oh, I think it was a popular story that Lagos State.
Yeah. And I actually did that investigation, and I actually investigated the juju priest itself, and it turns out to be a fake. And even though he has been Amotekun is one of his clients, and they came in groups, about 100 of them, And
Wait, you went to the juju man's place?
No, and I actually tested him and actually paid for a charm, and I tested it on camera.
How much is this charm?
I paid 50K for a ring, right? I know, like this ring, you hit someone with it and they fall. And we tested it on camera and it doesn't work.
And it didn't work?
What's the name of the juju man?
Woli Fitila.
Where?
Is at Ilaro in Ogun State.
So what was that ring supposed to do?
When you eat someone with it, they fall down or they die. And he said if you eat someone with it like a couple of minutes before 12 o'clock or a couple of hours before 12 o'clock, the person will die. And I did it about 11 o'clock. 11 p.m. In the evening at night, right? And
thank God I don't get close to you. Why you gonna use my life?
I need to know, who did you test it on?
Someone close to me. And,
the person was aware.
Was aware, sure now.
Okay.
The person was aware. It was yeah.
Bro,
you won't take that risk.
Bro. As much I'm a Christian, I don't exactly believe in the potency of juju. I've never seen it happen. There are I usually argue that we see evidences of bribery, we see evidences of corruption, we see videos of even the most immoral things on earth. But I've never actually seen a video where somebody appears without it being edited or a malfunction of the camera. So I don't exactly believe in the potency, but I'm not even willing to try it. I will not follow you for a documentary on juju. I will not leave the comfort of my own for that. In fact, if you see me slap a masquerade, no say I find my trouble. If I see them coming on the left, I will move to the right. I respect your team, but don't come close to me. So, talking about this juju and all of that, there are people that you cannot convince that there is no juju. Let alone say that juju is a scam. I mean, we've had cases of people being shot and it didn't enter. They call it different names. Some people, we've had a lot of cases. Even very popular robbers that have terrorized a certain region. I don't want to call names now. Popular stories. Nollywood have even released some movies that are related. They believe that they were protected. Some even have this native bulletproof and all of that.
Mm.
How would you explain a concept like that?
So the native bulletproof doesn't work. You can just find the evidence in now more, and this is a very sad thing. But you can actually see that they were for someone to actually stand in front of a gun to actually say they have they want to defend something with a bulletproof vest. I mean, they're totally convinced that it actually works. They're convinced even more than you, even more than the audience, because even most audience won't start in front of a bulletproof vest, you know. And to be short, so they are even more convinced than most people, and it doesn't work. It's a shameful thing they die. People are convinced that it totally works. People say stories are air stories. This something that they even saw. Look, eyesight is not the best, way to actually derive
Give
come to
proof.
conclusion. Reach to a conclusion. You could see something when the eyes can be lied to. And now the eyes can be lied to. It might be
So is there a scientific explanation to
that's
why
the
they will
scientific
shoot somebody
explanation. It
and
doesn't happen. And I've paid for a lot of charms, and I don't know if you took it to promote the channel, but
so
it
like
is
this you
I've paid
visited
for it.
places
I've
juju men?
I've visited lots of them.
The
I
Lord.
visited the people that you would call authority. People would call authority on that particular topic. On that particular topic, and none of them is real. I pay a lot of money for this.
So what do you do when you go there?
I
Do you
just
do you film them? Do you
It is mostly undercover investigations. You go there and you actually quiz them about something that, like, their fortune telling skills, right? Their fortune telling skills, and if they can actually see supernatural stuff. I actually pitched this idea to them that I have a sickness, or my grandmother is sick, or something, or someone is sick, and I give them the real names. I give them the real name of the person that I met, and my own real name, and I tell them to actually look. And when they look, they ask for money. When in reality, my grandmother is dead, and I'm not sick. They ask for money. They will tell you that if you don't do this, you will die. If you don't do this, your grandmother will die. Like this last one I did. This guy was telling me that my grandmother will be okay. My grandmother will be okay, but there are people in the family that are actually trying to kill my grandmother because she has something that they want. But in
Meanwhile,
reality, my grandmother was already dead.
Oh wow.
And then I did this. I paid for this ring with him, and we did all the ritual. I mean, it was so traumatic for me, seriously traumatic, because I had to actually drink a lot of things. Eat his alligator pepper.
Wait, raw
Imagine.
egg?
No, no, not raw egg, cooked egg. I have to
Cooked
actually
egg.
start this alligator pepper into the egg,
egg.
and I had to eat it, eat all of it,
Raw.
just think about the trauma of such thing, and there were things, the burnt things. Like, I mean, I was just eating, and it was like, wow, this thing is concluded now. If someone insults you, insult your own back. But none of it
Those
worked.
those things you're eating, what were they supposed to do?
One is to protect me from gunshot.
Wow.
I'm never going to test that. And the other is from metallic stuff, and the other one is to the ring. There were like concoction I was like trying to take for the ring to work, and then I did, and the ring never worked.
Danny, we've talked about Christianity a lot because that is, of course, your background. But at least from the peripheral knowledge that you have, do you think juju is a thing? The potency.
When it comes to my belief, I always limit my opinion on the amount of knowledge I have. He is speaking because he has gone on investigation. I've not gone on any investigation.
Do you wish to go?
Maybe we can bring him along the next one.
I feel if they want to come to me, they will come to me. I don't think any juju person is
Hold
worth
on.
my time.
Do you think you can be controlled by juju?
No, no, I do not think so.
That alone.
You mean
brings
something like
doubts.
touch and follow?
Yes.
I feel like touch and follow, when camera phones and cameras started becoming invoked, touch and follow just went, into exile. We stopped hearing about it.
You know where I'm leading to with this question. We've heard things like Yahoo Plus, that you are able to, that there's regular Yahoo, there's Yahoo Plus. That Yahoo Plus, you don't have to stress, just do ritual, and then you'll be talking like a type of charm that you can be in Nigeria and be controlling a client abroad. Do you think these things are actually potent?
I think they are manipulative. A lot of times, people would normally do these things without this charm. I mean, people have always had clients. People had always collected money. People had always defrauded people. So convincing another person that the juju he has is what he's doing. So what has been doing the ones that that have been defrauding people since. So you can't unless you give us that charm does something different, then we can agree.
Gbenga, is it possible for the African kings to keep relying on this juju for protection, knowing fully well it is fake? Hold on. Is it possible for people to keep placing sacrifices on the streets, knowing fully well it is not bringing any benefits? Is it possible for churches that call fire, fire, fire to keep existing and performing miracles, and population keeps increasing worldwide, and there's no actual juju they are conquering?
Okay. So let me first talk about the king. I have tried to meet up with kings, I wrote letters twice.
To who?
To Oni of Ife. And I met his aides and I requested for a meeting about this juju because I think one thing I haven't spoken about is why do this, why risk my life in such a way, why do so much, why when it will cost me so much. Yeah, I haven't spoken about why, but this it is possible for them to continue to do it. I mean, this has survived for this long because people do it, right? And I've tried to meet up with him. The day I met Wale in car, he invited me to Lagos, and he invited me to Lagos in his office, and he told me to come, and he said, Daniel, go and meet this Alaafin for you and tell him this was what I said and find out what is true. And the Alaafin for died the next day. So I've tried to actually I've tried to actually meet some points that, and it actually had this viral view, and we got no response because I do not believe this Jew is real, and I will put up this challenge respectfully. I respect, in fact, more than the kings, more than the people that actually work in the household. I respect the household. I respect the crown. I respect being the guardian of the culture that has actually that created our identity as Yoruba people, Igbo people, and Hausa people, and who we are. I respect that, and I will never. I do not actually trifle with that. But it is not time to wrap this thing up. I mean, not the house itself. The house itself can actually exist outside of the belief in the supernatural. And this is my challenge, to Alaafin for you, to Oni of Ife, to if you really have any kind of juju, I mean, this supernatural power, this supernatural power. I mean, you can actually test it on me under supervision, as long as it is supervised, right? To actually find out if it works. I mean, you can actually test it on me.
Yeah.
I will submit myself willfully to actually, for us to actually come together and actually find out if it works. Willfully, I will. Just write to me and on my Twitter page and I will respond.
Knowing how slimy religious people are, they're going to tell you, well, the king is too big to get involved.
It's too big to. But okay, now let us go to why. Why this? Why juju? Because we think the king will say he's too big to get involved in this, but he still represents. He's the lightning rod for all these supernatural beliefs. These kings are the lightning rod for these supernatural beliefs. They are supposedly to be the descendant of or incarnate of this Odudua and these gods that actually came from heaven and to actually represent that power, But the thing is that Nigeria is a big problem, and it is not. I'm saying this calmly, but that is actually a fire burning within me. I mean, an anger that's actually burning within me about this, and of course I'm calm about it. But it is so. We've come to a point that I'm beginning to see problems that I didn't even know actually existed. I mean, hates that are being actually created online because of this tribalism, right? And let me say, for example, the most dangerous aspect of this belief in the supernatural, this juju and all, is actually that it actually defines other people as being different from you. So what it actually does is that this belief actually does is that it defines you as someone, as an outsider, as other, as different. This is a topic that has to be addressed by the king himself. How can we be held hostage by pages of literature, ideas that actually have no base in reality? because someone actually decides to actually hold on to one supernatural entity. Let the
Are you talking of the Bible?
all of it. I'm talking about all of it now. I'm talking about all of it. Let them give us evidence tomorrow. I mean, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. That's what the Bible says.
Evidence
right?
of what exactly?
Any juju, is it juju? Is it Christianity that it is possible to actually hear from God? Maybe, but of course, people hear a lot of things, right? Right? But once you start speaking back, that is people say a lot of things. But once you start hearing a lot of things, you have to actually be very curious of what is the condition the person actually has. Can you prove to us that any of the tenets of your religion actually had holds any weight, has any basis in reality? And this is the convention that it should have happened when they were actually amalgamating this country together.
What would you expect the king to say?
I mean, to actually thoroughly investigate whether the belief there is any way to the supernatural. Of course, he's convinced that there is actually.
What you're saying is for the king to go against himself, because
it doesn't have to. It doesn't. When the emperor of Japan actually left behind his claim that he was God. The family didn't disappear. That is still an emperor in Japan.
Leviticus 19:26, and I'll quote Exodus 22 verse 18. Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. This is the Bible acknowledging that there are native powers. Obviously, I'm sure somewhere in the Quran there will be something related.
Jinns, they call them jinns.
Okay. That means, in a way, the Bible has acknowledged native powers. Even there are parts of the Quran that acknowledges the Bible. You know, what do you think Islam, Christianity, and native religion have in common?
Yeah. The thing is that the present mode of it of Christianity and religion have actually syncretized with each other in Nigeria. You know, and especially in Nigeria. In most African countries, you know, the people, you know, you can't actually look down on people's ability to actually hold conflicting beliefs in their heads and actually live their life according to it. You know, there is this work I'm doing in Ghana about witches, right? About witches that were actually sent out of the community, and they were actually banned from
real
the
life
community.
story.
Real life story, yeah. Real life story. There are camps, which camps in Ghana, where you can actually banish a witch from the society. Once you actually say this person is guilty of witchcraft, you banish them from the society, and they go there. They go there because it is believed that once you get to that camp, your power is neutralized.
What are the features of a witch? Like what do they see?
Exactly. That is why I titled the name of the documentary I actually shot "The Face of a Witch," because they feel like once you see a witch, that's what the people are in the community actually believe, that once you see a witch in the face, you see
know
them. And but when I saw these women, they were, I mean, northern lady in women in northern Ghana, they were really beautiful old women. I mean, beautiful old women. I mean,
so if they're beautiful, what
do they people
what
say?
do they see?
It's a power move. The power move. I mean, the power move. You have to, once someone is actually a threat to what you want, or you can't actually explain what you something that is beyond your power. You look for the weakest link. You know, you don't. They
it's like an allegation.
They accuse men to in the north,
Okay.
in northern Ghana. They accuse men to. So but they accuse weak men. They accuse men
Of
that have something that someone wants, and they just use that to remove you from the society.
Okay. You recently dropped a YouTube investigation, a concluded one, in fact, that went back and forth a bit. I think there was even a threat of a legal action to be taken against you, which you said it didn't happen, of a very popular person with over 100,000 Instagram followers, over 10 shout-outs from different celebrities, especially from a certain region of his work.
Don't say certain region, the Southwest.
Agbotifayo Empire. Yes. Can you explain that? Because in your word, you said it's a scam, that is fake, that his stuff doesn't work.
Yeah.
But days, years, months, I mean, he gets people that even come out to give their testimonies of his work. He's boldly showing these things on his page.
Well, pay attention to his page also. You see people that are actually telling you that his soap doesn't work. when you look at the comments, you know that they've actually found no evidence of the soap. I think it majors on soap. I mean, it concentrates on soap, right? Soaps, right? Because people actually, you know, people that already have their mainly, I think, a lot of Yahoo guys, because I've seen a lot of them on Instagram that actually says I was even on one game, Call of Duty, and this guy, we were playing games, right? And this guy was telling me that he was experiencing a headache from one soap, not Agbodi Fire from Agbodi Fire, but one soap that was given to him by one Jew priest, and it isn't working. Like he has been using.
I think this soap is big business now.
It is big business in Nigeria. It is big business in Nigeria.
I think so, a pastor went viral some time ago.
Yeah. So they give you soap when you already have a job. I mean, something already bringing in money for you. They give you soap that you should go and actually use. But you know, the thing is that even the wrong clock, I mean, it's a clock that stop actually is correct twice a day. And normally, if you go to Gbagi Market, because I went there and I actually listened to people's testimony about their supernatural experiences, and they will tell you that there are people that are using soap, but it is baggy. People come into Gbagi all the time to actually buy. Once or twice, people will actually visit your place, you know, and you associate that to soaps. You associate it when you actually use it, you feel it is soap.
So you're saying the testimonies from Agboti Fire Empire, they are coincidental?
They are coincidental, yeah, they are coincidental.
But even when you debunked or when you called out Agboti Fire Empire for being a scam, people still patronizing.
Yeah, a lot of them haven't seen the documentary. That's the thing. That's the funniest thing. But that was this guy that came to me recently. He lives in Abeokuta, and he told me that he was scammed by a juju priest. And when he went through my channel, he was scammed 700,000 naira. A copper, right? That is even small money.
Waiting copper, even if I do.
That is even small money actually. That is someone I know. He said, of course, he remember that was actually scammed of 16 million. 16 million in Port Harcourt. And I have the receipt of every transaction he made.
Why he paid 16 million to a juju priest?
The juju priest.
To do what?
Look, it's complicated. I mean, seriously complicated.
Wait, you know this person personally?
I haven't met him, but we've spoken several times. He came to me after it actually happened. I discovered my work after it actually happened. You know, after it actually happened. So that's what they actually say. Wow, I wish I found you before then. I wish I found you before this moment. You know, wow, these things are just even the DSS is now involved in the case in Abeokuta.
What would make you give a juju priest 16 million?
Like they were. He was scared into it. I don't want to actually give the details of the story yet. Totally yes, he was scared into it. You know, they were telling him that they even told him they killed someone for him, and they brought a beaten out for him. You know, and they told him they killed someone for him. You have any idea how far that can go? They were telling you that they were doing money ritual for you, and they told you they
used
someone for you.
16 million to get more money.
In the hope that we get more money, never got a cent.
That's crazy.
If you have 16 million,
This is common. Honestly, you don't hear. He has a business. He just was looking for more. Yeah. So this is actually big business.
It's
big
common.
business. In
you know
Nigeria.
why it's common? Because people won't come out to say they were scammed. You know, people won't come out because it's actually embarrassing.
Yeah,
So
and they come to me. They come to my DM.
It's just
and
like
tell me,
buying a fake penis enlargement screen.
Yes.
Who you work on?
Nobody will say,
When
because
that never work.
it's already people are already sentimental towards juju. So you coming out to say you're scammed by juju.
Yeah.
So people start looking at you. Oh, you even wanted to do juju in the first place.
Now, in line with the last question I asked you, briefly tell us what is common, because you also investigated Shatawale's witch doctor or spiritual father, Chief Natia. You also investigated Nana Agrada. This one is even very interesting because she used to be a witch doctor that converted to being a pastor, reverend. Now, what is common in all of these people that you've exposed in a way?
The thing is, they have a lot of followers that actually believe that they are actually genuine. I think that's a common thread. I mean, that is the common thread between all of them. At least they are all. Of course, they all, you know, they all say they have some supernatural power, but the common thread is that they all have a certain amount of followers that actually believe that they're genuine. The video that got Shatawale recommending Chief Natia as his chief priest, actually got Chief Natia the ability to actually set up his own court. I mean, and it's a court in Ghana, set up his own court and actually make a lot of money
Money.
from these people, because a recommendation from Shatawale in Ghana. So it was big for him. It was big for him. So that was, and the video was viral.
And he's fake too.
And it's fake too now. It's fake too now. He's scammed a lot of people that even came to me. That he scammed me. What should I do? What should I do? So the common thread is that they have a lot of followers. They have a lot of followers, that people that drew the conclusion that because these people are real, because these people are real, they are that my belief in the juju is actually justified.
Now, before this podcast, we had a discussion, and you said something that you can prove to me that the Bible is so inaccurate by mentioning two places in the Bible that contradict Jesus' birth. That's one. Secondly, you said Muslims think the Quran is accurate, but there are mistakes in the Quran. Lastly, you said there is no evidence that God, Allah, Muhammad, Juju exists.
Yeah. So let me first talk about the Islam one. There was this convention I was having at the Barbering Salon. I think maybe a year ago or so. Maybe a year ago. And this guy was telling me, he was kind of becoming kind of violent. I was telling me that the inherent accuracy of the Quran actually makes it the word of God. That it is there are no contradictions in the Quran. There is nothing that the Quran gets wrong, you know. So, and every point I bring up in the Quran, it just interprets it. It just interprets it as something else. That's not what it meant. It meant something different. So I feel like it is actually a fool's errand to actually start debating that with Muslims. But I got a better point. That can actually shut down that line of thoughts totally. They claim that the Quran is accurate, has no contradictions. Okay, I give you that. But who says that the standard of a thing being divinely inspired is accuracy? I could write you a phone book right now. I could write you a book without contradictions. I could write you a phone book. Just write a phone book right now, and you will find no contradiction in it. Does that mean that I'm God?
So what two places in the Bible contradicts Jesus' birth?
It is Jesus' death. Yeah. They died. It was Mark and John. The book of Mark actually narrates the death of Jesus Christ, and the book of John actually narrates the death of Jesus Christ. I think I can I use my phone? Can I just look it up right here? It is Mark 14:12, right? That was the day of preparation for the Passover. They came to Jesus Christ and they told him that they asked him where they should prepare the food for the Passover. They prepared the food for the Passover. He broke the bread and they ate it. And they told, and on this Mark 14:12, they tell you it is the day of preparation for the for the Passover. And then Jesus Christ in the book of Mark, Jesus Christ spent the night in jail. He spent the night in jail and was actually killed the next morning. It was said in 9 a.m. It was said to be 9 a.m. on 9 a.m. right 9 a.m. The next day. That was that is the book of Mark.
So what did John say?
You see, the way what confuses people in that book is the way the Jews tells time. The old Jews actually tell time the way Jewish people actually do. When you read the Bible, they tell you God created the night and day. It's not day and night. They believe that the night actually starts in the evening. So the day of preparation for the Passover was on Thursday, like Mark said. Mark said on Thursday, and the day of Passover is the next morning, 9 a.m. the next morning, when Jesus Christ was killed. In the book of John, Jesus Christ was killed. Mark 15:42 was what the Bible actually said. The day of preparation for the Passover.
Wait, when he was killed, Are you saying it was he didn't die on the cross? Because
No, I'm saying he was crucified that day. He died on that. He died. He died.
So
yeah, because you
his
mentioned something
contradiction
about
is the
brazen.
day.
the day he was killed on in the book of John 19:4. John 19:4. He was killed on the day of preparation for the Passover by noon. In Mark, he died on Passover because it was 9 a.m. in the morning. 9 a.m. in the morning of after the night they had the Passover. But you know in the Last Supper, right? Jesus Christ actually had the Last Supper, and he died the next morning. In the book of John 19:14, Jesus Christ died on the day of preparation for the Passover, which means he died on Thursday.
But
12
I
p.m.
want to understand. Are you trying to disprove the?
No, I'm not saying that
Jesus?
there are contradictions in the Bible. So much contradiction that cannot be
I mean, these accounts were given by different people.
exactly.
I don't expect the accounts to be the same.
But what?
Do you agree that Jesus died?
I believe that was a Jesus Christ. I believe historically that was a man. At least they have to actually follow the story up. I don't believe he was resurrected. I don't believe he was actually buried in the tomb. Even people in Jerusalem will tell you that there is no evidence that Jesus Christ was buried in this tomb. It's just a cultural belief. So I'm just talking about the inaccuracy in the Bible right now.
Yeah.
That it is so inaccurate that it even disagrees on the day Jesus Christ was killed. Like
Sorry
I said,
to cut you. I'm no longer a Christian, but I don't think you make a good point by disproving the accuracy of the Bible. I think a lot of people will agree the Bible is inaccurate because this.
why would it?
Hold on, because this the Bible was made up of different books by different people at different centuries, so it's impossible to get the same story. The thing is, are the stories boiling down to one part? It sounds like it might sound like I'm defending the Bible now, but no. The accuracy of Jesus's death, I don't expect
It is
two
not. It is
accounts
not so
to be the same.
significant to people. It's not
No, even if you go back to the history of Nigeria and ask a lot of older people about the civil war, who started it, people mention different names.
Yeah.
Because people give the account of what they know, what they were told. How many people were there when Jesus died? The Mark and John, they were not there. They are actually reporting. So I don't think it's supposed to be perfect, like accurate. They're supposed to say the same thing.
None of the Bible authors have actually witnessed. At least only Paul book is about 6 or 7 of his book. It's actually genuine in the Bible. The rest actually didn't witness any of the events actually, and they wrote in the third person, right? They wrote in the third person. They didn't say I went to. They didn't say we went to in the second person, but they said they, because it was something that they heard, not something that they saw. So it was. I'm just saying it is so inaccurate. Why live your life on something that isn't? It's that uncertain. If you were to say they want to start a religion around the civil war now, the day, on the accuracy that this is actually divine word of God or something like that, on a book like that, wouldn't you actually expect it to actually convey the truth?
You know why it cannot convey the truth? Because you don't know who is saying the truth.
But then why would people believe that it is the word of God?
Okay, that's another argument. So when you use the civil war as reference, if two people have conflicting opinions, let's say the major people in
At least it can't be divinely inspired.
The war was between Nigeria and Biafra. Biafra would give their account and Nigeria would give their account. If you want to make up a book using the civil war, you add 2 of their accounts. What you're doing now is telling people, okay, read and make your own judgment.
But
Because if you
people don't
put
claim
only Nigeria's account, Nigeria is going to tell their story the way they saw it. Biafra is going to tell their own story too, the way they saw it too. And it can. There's no way it would be the same.
It will be the same. Yeah.
Not possible.
Yeah, but they won't claim that the Bible, the account is actually divinely inspired by God. That is all that doesn't change. That is all perfect. And that would be less people that will actually build their lives around it. They build their kids around it. They wouldn't beat their kids because they do not go to the temple to actually worship in the name of this book. That is just it is just basically subjective.
My ear don't fool. Gbenga, I need you to answer me I'll just mention some things and you answer with scam or no scam.
Okay.
I'm just going to, for example, if I mention A, you say it's scam or no scam. Just direct answer.
Yeah.
You don't have to explain anything. The concept of God.
Scam.
Jesus Christ.
I don't understand. Existence or Son of God.
Son of God.
Scam.
Mami Water.
Scam.
Babalawo.
Scam.
Ogun.
Scam.
Obatala.
Scam.
Shango.
Scam.
Amadioha.
Scam.
Yeye Oshun.
Scam.
Ojuju.
Scam.
Ebo.
Scam.
Ogboni.
Scam.
Witches and wizards.
Scam.
Juju men.
Scam.
Black magic.
Scam.
Charm.
Scam.
Witch. Chief priest.
Scam.
Omo.
Pastors.
I'm out.